Good afternoon, everybody. I am coming to you now with the Wednesday class for September 29th. Now, the thing that a couple of people have asked me about, I've gotten a couple of emails, is the exercise that we're doing that is due today, Wednesday, the 29th. What does it have to do with the big assignment, the exploratory essay that is due at the end of Unit 2? That's a really good question. And I think that you could answer your question by going into that assignment and really reading over the assignment sheet really carefully. What we're doing in transitioning between Unit 1 and Unit 2 is we're moving into a very different kind of assignment in terms of the big essay assignment. So the Unit 1 essay assignment was very much a personal essay about a memory that you had with reading and writing. So it's called the literacy narrative because it's about you as a reader and a writer, right? Your relationship to written text. That's really what that one is about. There's a really big change between Unit 1 and Unit 2. And it can sometimes sort of throw you for a loop because all of a sudden we're reading these, articles about technology and the pandemic and what happened to all that fun creative stuff. I happen to love all that fun creative stuff because I do have a MFA in creative writing. It is really my specialty, but this kind of stuff that we are focusing on is also really, really important. And what we are learning in this class is really how to engage with a lot of different kinds of texts, including creative texts, personal texts, and journalistic sources. So we're moving more towards the journalistic sources in Unit 2. And so what we're really looking at here are two overall themes. And the two themes are information technology and the COVID pandemic. And we're going to look at how they overlap, how they connect. So what we're moving into in Unit 2 is to try to find how people's perceptions of the pandemic are being affected by the information technology that we're using to try to understand our world. And I'll tell you what I mean by that when we go into the material. So I'm just going to turn on screen sharing here, and we're going to look at the new materials that are in the Unit 2 folder. So what we have here, we have the materials that are loaded under the notice about last week's discussion board post. Everything under that is new for this week. So online learning and stress, right? That was for Monday. That's the NBC News article on that. There's the citations exercise where you're asked to use that as a source article, and also the one on Zoom and stress, Zoom fatigue here. So that's one way that the pandemic and information technology come together, right? We are using more technology, more information technology because of having to stay home for safety reasons. So we are leaning more on information technology for school, for communication. What is that doing? How is that affecting our society? How is that affecting the way we live, work, interact? Those are the kind of issues being raised there. Now, so we're looking at that content and at the same time practicing skills of formatting quotations, quoting from sources, citing those sources correctly, right? So the citations exercise 1 is due tonight, before midnight. So citations exercise 1 does, I went over this in the last video. So for those of you who are, wondering about it, maybe it's, if you're wondering about it, the Monday's video covers citations exercise 1. So this is to really doing two things. It is providing us with material to practice really important academic writing skills, like working with sources, correctly formatting quotations, which is covered in this little guide right here. Then the other thing is that it's providing us with possible material that we can use in this major assignment, the exploratory essay assignment. So the exploratory essay assignment asks us to choose a topic from within those two themes. And the two themes, of course, the COVID pandemic and information technology. And within that, there's a lot of possibilities for possible topics. So my suggestion is really just to open up that assignment and read it and try to get an initial idea of what you might want to write about, right? So the topic proposal, there are 3 due dates. The first due date is October 10th. Second due date is October 20th, and third is November 11th. Right, so the topic proposal is the first thing that's due. The outline and first draft is due on the 20th, and the final draft is due on the 11th. So you do get a chance to get feedback twice on this assignment. So read over this sheet. We will talk about it more in the next class video, but it's going to help us to understand the relationship between the exercises that we're doing, the material that we're reading, and this final assignment. So the new articles that are posted, and you'll see them underneath the exploratory essay assignment, are about the pandemic, masking and vaccination mandates, and how people are responding to that. So we've got really 2 things here. This is new. I posted this at the beginning of the week, so we can see that we've got a fair amount of reading to do. This one here, Overcoming COVID Misinformation Online. This is from National Geographic, and it is from 2020. So just be aware of that. So you might, at some points in that article, you might wonder, wait a minute, this is from last year. Sometimes, you know, an article becomes outdated really quickly. Other times the key information in it is still good. There's just a couple of parts in there that you're gonna notice are from a year ago. So 90% of this article, very relevant for today. A couple of places, you know, you're gonna notice that it's a year old. It's from National Geographic, good, solid, established information source. And it's really kind of a basic primer on how information about the pandemic circulates online and how some people are using it or misusing it, and how it gets confusing, right? How people can become very confused about the virus, about the vaccine. So this is a good one to start with. And then there are 2 other articles. I'd like you to have this one read by Thursday and these 2 read between now and the next class, okay? So if you read the instructions here, these will be the subject of a discussion board post that's due next week. I have not yet written up that discussion board post, but over the weekend, you will see it over the weekend in the discussion forum. So what we're going to do is try to synthesize, try to connect all these articles together in a written response. So the 2 articles here, the pandemic, masking, and vaccine mandates, one of them here, I will click on it, is from Los Angeles Times, and it's about COVID-19 increasing in children. Right, more children being diagnosed with the virus. And the second one here is from that one's from LA Times, Los Angeles Times. This one is from Associated Press. These are all really established journalistic sources here. And this is about increasing violence in the protests against mask mandates and vaccine mandates, particularly around schools. So what I want you guys to do in reading these is ask a lot of questions why. I want everyone to you know, turn on your curiosity here while reading these and ask why it might be that the protests against vaccine mandates and mask mandates, mask requirements and required vaccines in schools and in healthcare settings, why would these protests be becoming more violent? Why do you think this is happening? In terms of the COVID rate increasing among children, this has completely to do with this new variant, the Delta variant in the virus. It's just a lot more transmissible. And so therefore more children are getting sick. So all of these things, all of these influences are coming together, plus an enormous amount of information online about COVID-19. And much of this is misinformation, right? So you've got information and misinformation. How do you tell the truth from the fiction? So this is the theme that we're trying to develop here in this unit. So basically, after you have uploaded the assignment here on citing sources, the next step is just to have all these articles read. And then over the weekend, we're going to be doing a discussion board post about that. And that's going to be followed next week by another skills assignment, another skills practice assignment having to do with documenting sources, introducing sources. So it's all going to be gearing towards that final assignment at the end of Unit 2, the exploratory essay. So that's really what it's all about for this week. And it's not a real long instruction, but please do read the articles. Let me know if you have any questions. Email me if you do. And I will post another video on Monday, and we will talk more about the exploratory essay. So I'm gonna stop sharing right there. So the exploratory essay, read that assignment, read the posted articles, and make sure that you upload the citations exercise by tonight, the 29th before midnight. And I will post another video next Monday. So everybody have a great weekend.